chain reactor spitting fire. The NFT analyzer, diving deep into projects. He's the crypto energizer. From meme coins to tokens, he's got all the intel. Web3 is a tree to show you where to excel. He's got the insights like a digital magician, unveiling secrets of the blockchain with precision. Wild stories from the web, he's always
Mega GMs. Welcome, guys, to Slam Nation. All right, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to sneak in a little something you're not supposed to say, but there's a way to say it, right? It's nice to be back. I'm back. You guys are back. Dare I say we are back? We're kind of back, dude. We might be back. We might be. What's up, Dad? Good to see you, man. Oh, boy. No, that thumbnail's the one. It's definitely the one. DK, good morning, dude. Cass, good to see you. Cutie, good morning. We have a lot to get to today. I mean, a lot. There's a lot going on in the market. Want to get into the Fusaka upgrade today. Dude, especially with the topic. Fusaka upgrade, Ethereum upgrade coming today. It's really cool. Really cool. I spent hours diving into it, and I forgot there's something out there in the space that I forgot how much I liked. Like love. And it's like something I've avoided for a long time now, which is, man, like diving into documentation, learning how some of this stuff actually works. Kind of stopped diving in. It's been a minute. I forgot how much I actually love the tech, how cool it actually is sometimes. And especially with my background before working in Web3, working in IT before that for almost 20 years, like, forgot how much I love that stuff. So it was a real treat getting to dive back into how Ethereum works, right? And something I want to spend more time doing going forward. But today, excited to break that down. We maybe don't do as deep of a dive as I was maybe hoping to do, but I learned a lot covering it. And I hope by the end of the show, you actually learned something about the Fusaka upgrade too. At least that's the goal. Want to cover some virtuals updates repo on fire, and actually some issues there, probably a little to do with why the chart looked the way it did when we looked at it yesterday. NFT stuff going on. It's just a lot going on, man. A lot going on, and we're going to get to, there are some updates on the gas front with Fusaka, right? It is expected it's going to get cheaper to use. Also, there's some like gas, minimums when it comes to blobs. Like we'll get to all this stuff. Also a new gas, I'll say it now. There's a new gas limit coming with Fusaka, as in like block sizes are going to be doubled, which is pretty awesome. So ETH getting faster in a way because of that. TPS, I guess, higher because of that. Just more you can fit in a block. Gas doubling from, I think it's 30 million to, I think, 60 mil. So like, doubling the size of these blocks. It's a big upgrade, man. It's a really, really big upgrade. All right, let's get into it. Hit the like on the show, streaming now on Abstract, on X, on YouTube. You know the deal. Hit the like on the show. Subscribe over on CryptoSlam on YouTube. If you're a builder, come build with us. If you're building an agent, if you're building dashboards, if you're building here in crypto or AI, whatever, come work with us. Tap into our data. And it's not just the data. It's this enriched data. It's this super powered data giving you intelligence. Still use Copilot. Thing's amazing, right? But come tap in to our APIs, our MCP servers. Get plugged in, power your tools. Head to SlamAI.xyz. But we'll give you a little taste. We'll give you a little taste up front too. Join us in Slam Nation. We'll give you some credits to use the API. We do want people to come and experiment and feel out the data. And it's been pretty cool getting people plugged in and seeing what they Well, first off, like what they think of it, then how they start using it. And we have some new partners that we'll be announcing soon. But that's been a blast. And we want more people to come and build. So reach out to us, send a DM. You can DM us here. Slam Nation X. You can do it over on the CryptoSlam account, CryptoSlam.io. But come join us in Slam Nation. Again, we'll connect you to the APIs. We'll give you some credits. And we'll bring you on the show, man. Let's talk about what you're building. So yeah, if you want to come on this show, reach out to us. We want to talk. We want to show people what you're cooking. On that front, man, we got a great guest coming on tomorrow. It's gonna be nice to get back in the swing of things, talking to these builders. But tomorrow we have Fuku coming on. Well, it's Punk 2070 building Fuku, which is probably the next big launch on virtuals. And I think the last virtuals guest we had on was Repo, which is officially is the biggest virtuals unicorn launch now. That token is absolutely cooking. So will Fuku be our next biggest? I don't know. I like it a lot though. So excited to get that chat in. Normal show time, right? 9 a.m. Eastern time with Punk 2070 coming on at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Really looking forward to diving into that platform. We'll talk about it a little later if we got time, but otherwise tomorrow we'll be diving in. Quickly though, that's perfect, dude. That's perfect. Yeah, it's a microdose. Perfect. Anyway, we got some jobs data today. Private payrolls, not great, fam, not great. We were expecting a gain of 10,000 jobs. We got the opposite. It's a 42,000 swing, right? Jobs fell by 32,000 in November. Not great. All but locks in rate cuts, which I think were happening anyways. Markets are starting to price that in. In fact, that's probably a lot of what we're seeing right now with markets pricing that in, but damn near a sure thing at this point. And look, I'm still pretty darn worried about things out there. We see crypto prices up and up pretty nicely. I mean, you saw we just about touched 93. We maybe did touch 93 for Bitcoin. We are feeling a little more back than we did last week. That's for sure. But I still don't feel that things are going well out there. You know what I mean? I imagine we're all on the same page there. I don't feel like things are going very well. And the Black Friday sales were, for me, more evidence of that. Didn't care how high they were. It's people borrowing money to pay for things. And then we see job losses. Not great. And still, I think this market's going to run pretty hot for a while. And maybe we range here up into the low hundreds, right? Maybe we don't see a Bitcoin all-time high this cycle. I'm still betting we do. Anyway, you see Bitcoin here just under 92K. ETH over 3,000. Let's see if we hang on to that, but we'll take it. Ripple 216, BNB 890, and Solana 140. I will say, guys, man, some pretty inspiring stuff yesterday. Like, forget the market. Maybe the biggest reason I'm so bullish and optimistic on what's coming is people building in this space. I mean, it's that simple. Like the kind of things that are being built in this space, the kind of money being thrown at this space, to me, it's inspiring. And it's speaking as like a dad. I have kids and I want them to look up to people in this space. I had some really good examples yesterday to show them, like people they could look up to in this space. It's pretty cool. Again, we're going to get to that in a quick second. First, looking at ETF volume yesterday. Yesterday was a monster day volume-wise. A monster day for ETF volume. In fact, yeah, check this out. This is just on the Bitcoin side yesterday. Total spot Bitcoin ETF volume yesterday was over 5 bill. I don't believe that was our highest day. Not our highest day, but it's up there. And you can thank Vanguard opening up ETFs for to their clients. That's a yesterday thing. That's why. But inflows on Bitcoin, just 58.5 mil. And by just, we sometimes see that in the hundreds of millions. So a lighter day. On the ETH side, 9.9 mil in outflows. ETH certainly starting to look different here, right? And then on Solana, yeah, figured that was coming. Solana, where are we going to go? Wow, 45 mil in inflows on Solana. You love to see it. Yeah, Cutie, are you going to these? Solana Breakpoint, Binance Week. Binance Week is right now. I think I saw it right now. I think Michael Saylor was speaking at it, which is awesome. We'll talk about Saylor too. But yesterday was a big day for Bitcoin. It was nice. We needed it, dude. We really did need it. Probably our best day since, like this is saying here, May. It's been a rough stretch. Yesterday was a nice recovery. We need to see. Look, I'm not going to say we're really back until we see this sustained and until we see us pushing back to. I want to see us over 100. Who doesn't? But I don't buy anything yet. I'm still not buying, even if I'm getting I was getting real close. I'm getting much closer to buying whatever it is, whatever. Right? I've got some memes I'm looking at. I'm very close to playing this market again, but I'm not there yet. I'm being super careful here. And I still think Saylor's up to something. I still think maybe there's a bigger thing going on here. We do know that there's the possibility that strategy is delisted from these indexes, right? Trying to remember the main index. What it was, the NASDAQ 100, right? They're meeting with the MSCI about their listing. Decision made in January. We know that is one of the biggest things hanging over the market right now. One of, right? It's a few things, but also the value of strategy. Saylor clarifying too when they would sell Bitcoin and just in how tough of a position they're really in. These guys are just fine, guys. Strategy is just fine. They will sell Bitcoin if we have a 3-year down cycle, which, look, I can't say it's never going to happen. I think things are so crazy right now that if that happened, you'd be like, yeah, okay, I get it. But I'm not betting on it. All right, hang on. I didn't tweet the show, so there we go. Show tweeted. Throw a little love on that. Okay. And I want to move quickly because I want to put some good time on Fusaka. It's so cool. I'm so excited for it. If you're not excited about what's coming, okay, let me walk that back. You don't have to be excited for it, but if you don't see what's coming, God help you. You know what I mean? Like, this is such a great tweet because it's sometimes I need those examples put right in front of me of why I'm so bullish. It's things I've believed in already, but just having them put right in a row, right on paper, right in front of your face, it helps. Helps it click different, helps me explain it to people different. Here in crypto, we've seen the birth of Polymarket. We've seen the birth of Kalshi. We've seen the birth of a stablecoin company called Tether, who is one of the most profitable companies in the world if you factor in the value of the company and their profits divided per employee. Ridiculous numbers Tether does. Ridiculous numbers. Then you look at Hyperliquid. Never raised. I didn't even realize that. Never raised. Millions a day in fees. Pump Fund, who is airdropping a token. Hyperliquid airdropped a token. Polymarket and Kalshi may be airdropping tokens. Good morning, Gravity. And you see that, and then you remember what we talked about yesterday, that innovation exemption's coming to crypto. So loosening up things here. So you look at those examples, and you realize people are going to be encouraged, maybe incentivized to come and build in crypto. And that's where I can't help but be max bullish for the next decade, maybe beyond, as the rest of the economy kind of feels like it's breaking. I don't know how to reconcile these two. I don't, other than I feel like crypto is part of what fixes it or gets it back on track. But I do know we'll see stuff like this over and over and over and over again. And I think it starts happening faster and more often. And at some point, less and less. But no, I think 2026 has the potential to be a monster year. If not for our wallets, our portfolios, for more stories like that. And if you get more stories like that, we do get that trickle-down effect. People make money, spend money. Usually, it's hard to see that and not be excited. Okay, but you see that. And you pair it with stories like the Trump accounts that were announced yesterday. And no, it's not the biggest deal. No, this is not changing anything. Although, founder of Robinhood thinks it'll change the world. And I believe he's He's right. He's right to a degree. It's that idea that, I don't know, that spirit of giving back and investing in kids. If we saw more of that, we would change the world. We would. And so I love this. If you guys didn't see, yesterday officially announced were the Trump accounts, and Trump has talked about this for a while. These are investment accounts for kids. For the next 3 years, it's the rest of President Trump's term. Any freshly minted kids each get a $250 investment account. Pretty damn cool. Now the Dell family, Susan and Michael Dell, stepped in and said, you know what, let's go beyond that. Any kid under 10 years old, we're going to donate $6.25 billion to, so they also get in on the $250 investment account. Crazy stuff. It's $250. We've seen bigger bailouts, I think, for the banking industry, right? Like, we've seen bailouts. And so you could scratch your head and say, you could probably do more. Dude, yeah, they could probably, not the Dells, like, awesome. And also they could probably do more. Everybody could do more. Everybody. That's a step in the right direction. That's the kind of thing we need to see a lot more of. A lot more of. And that does have me excited for, I'm pretty optimistic for the future. I am. Dude, love it. I love it. Yeah. I'm optimistic for the future. I am. I think when we get over this really difficult hurdle we're in right now, I think it's like green pastures beyond that. I do. I can't tell you exactly why I feel like that. I think the chaos that AI is bringing, well, I think AI is part of the solution. I think things get normalized. I think it settles down. I think AI fixes all the fake news. I think it fixes that. I think it helps us discover truth faster. And the blockchain does that too. And then I'm excited about what building in that future looks like. I'm excited for this. And investing in the kids here, awesome. I get to share that story with my kids, and they're older than 10, so they don't even get this. But I think that's exciting to see that people are paying attention to kids. So thank you to these two and like GGs and all that. And I hope we see more of that. I think it is a big deal. And if we see more than that, it does start changing the world. It does. It does. And there's a lot more of that should happen all over the world, just not a here in the States thing. We also saw Binance. Again, I'm excited for what's coming. Binance created a Binance Junior account here. Big focus on getting kids to crypto. I mean, look, Katz knows this because we've been hanging in Gravity too. We've all been hanging Cutie too. We've all been hanging for a long time here. Dead too. When we were early in our time together, we used to talk about in Henry too, and we maybe to some degree had set this up. We were thinking about onboarding our kids and doing it in our Discord server and calling it, we've got our group called the Non-Fungible Idiots. And we were going to make a group called the Kidiots, help bring kids in and teach them crypto and help them to be safe, teach them security. I still love that idea, by the way, but I love this. I love to see these exchanges going in that direction too. I've struggled getting the right kind of savings account and, some kind of investment accounts for my kids. Like, I've never found the perfect one. I've had these, things that are like these prepaid debit cards that I fund, and I wanted more. I wanted a crypto solution here, and now we have it, which is really cool. So here you go. It's a parent-controlled app, sub-accounts for kids and teens. Give them their little crypto stimmy. I think they'll probably be able to spend it. Teach them a little bit about trading, if they can trade. I don't know if they can trade from these. Probably not, but what a great thing. It's a great setup. What's up, Luna? Good morning, man. It's really cool. Okay. Also, and we just had great news yesterday. I'm telling you, I felt really inspired yesterday. And again, I got to share all this with my kiddos. I have 2 girls and a son. But especially for my girls yesterday, I got to show them this story. The co-founder of Binance, now officially their CEO. Right there. I like to give them those female role models to look up to. I don't feel like I have a lot, dude. I don't. And that's probably on me for not knowing enough. But right, I don't feel like I have a lot of like female role models to like put in front of them. Now I get some crypto examples, right? I don't know her name. I should probably know her name. Probably helps. But I get to show them her, which is great. And actually, the first thing I got to share with them yesterday, to me, was kind of cooler because it's a little more well, do you get any more degen than Binance? Probably not. But the co-founder of Kalshi, now officially the youngest, or is it the youngest self-made billionaire, beating Taylor Swift. I guess cool. I got to tell them about that. I thought that was awesome. They were curious. So cool day for, me as a dad getting to tell them these stories and just show them like what's possible. How cool is that? Luna, you going? What's the conference called? AI conference in San Diego. Cool. I got to start getting out there. I do IRL and going to these events. All right, let's keep going. I got so much to cover. I know I'm gonna blow the time here. I know it. I'll race through this stuff. I don't want to spend time on it really, but just know the innovation exemption coming. Trump has an announcement today too. It may not be crypto. Actually, I probably think it's not, but you never know. You never know. But innovation exemption coming. Those success stories we saw before, both those two individuals and those crypto companies, man, over and over and over. And I think we'll see more next year. It'll accelerate. New Fed chair coming. That still might be this year. Might be. I don't think it will be. But again, I think the market is trying to or starting to price this in. Now wrestling with the jobs data. Keep my eyes on this. Again, I love the pump yesterday. I don't trust it. But also, my spidey senses are tingling a bit. Not try to keep myself in check, Still hanging over us, and this is why I'm not ready to dive back in yet. I need to find out what the date is here, but the Supreme Court ruling on Trump's tariffs. Costco suing Trump now over the tariffs. Right? We need to see how this plays out. This is the biggest thing that can wreck us right now, and like really, really wreck us. If we have to look at this, okay? If we have to repay all the tariffs we've taken in, well, Trump has basically promised that money already to us, taxpayers. They refund next year or stimmy. It's paid for by the tariffs. If tariffs are ruled illegal, well, maybe that's going to be unwound. We'll see. That's the biggest thing hanging over us right now. So we'll see. Cautiously, very, very optimistic right now, though. We're going to swing back to this if we have time at the end. I like it, Luna. Luna, thinks we could hit 107K. Great short entry. I may actually join you there. I might, because I've never shorted the market. I've never shorted Bitcoin. I'll say that. And I've shorted something maybe like once ever, just playing around with Aster. I may join you there. I'll swing back to this. This is super interesting. Flow looks like they're going to start getting a little aggressive here with building, onboarding, offering some like cool DeFi products. We'll talk about this after, but couple new apps they're launching that sound very cool. Flow Credit Markets. They did like a leverage trading platform too that was actually a kind of a fresh spin on it. It was pretty cool. But let's get to AI because I then want to get to Fusaka. AI market up, dude. AI market looking pretty decent right now. Up almost 10% in the past 24 hours. See if we have any big movers that are surprising here. Fartcoin, your top agent token, followed by Tibber, Turbo, Toshi, Elk. I'm not even going to read them off. I'm just going to look real quick, see if anything's standing out. Pippin, fallen just under 200 mil. Anything else here? Let's see. No. On DeFi, it still kind of confuses me, but it is what it is. Mindshare, Fartcoin's on top. Then Cookie, Warp, Pippin, Elsa AI. Nice. Okay. On the virtuals tokens, dude, why is the abstract stream never works, dude? Never works. Well, I shouldn't say never, but struggling. I don't think we're live over there. Oof. Cutie, right? Math nerds are the new billionaires. You know what it is? Just people with balls. Could be ladies with balls. If you got balls and like conviction, it'll take you a long way now. It really does. All right, over to virtuals. And I got to quickly just go to these new launches and top movers because that spotlight belongs Repo right now. Firmly on Repo. See if anything else has had any motion the past couple of days, but no, it looks like we're kind of right where we were, other than Repo, right? Look, up to almost a 17 mil FDV. And this has been fun to track, right? This has been a fun one to watch for the past, couple of weeks here. And if you got in GG's, I don't know why, but you could see repo coming. It's the biggest reason is the bit tensor comparisons. It's definitely that. It's definitely their connections. It's the caliber of the team. It's quite a few things, but I'm not surprised by it, right? Like I said yesterday, what was it at? 12, 13 mil FDV? And what we said even before that, I think this is going way higher. I think this is going to 25 mil in the short term. And does this end up being 50 mil, 100 mil? If that's the kind of tokens this market will give us, then yeah, this has that chance. Repo's got a pretty interesting ceiling here, and I still need to understand it. I still need to wrap my head around it. But what I understand of it, I think it has got a lot of room. If you're interested in it, let me do a quick shill. If you want to learn more about it, so like I said, I want to do a bit tensor deep dive, and during that, I should do and probably will do a repo deep dive again. But we had the team on the show here just 2 weeks ago. So again, if you want to get I guess a head start on that episode, go to CryptoSlam on YouTube and look back. Let me see, just 2-ish weeks. Hang on, where's repo? Let me find repo here. Repo. How long ago was repo? It wasn't long ago. Where's the stream? Oh, duh. Terrible thumbnail, dude. Jesus Christ. But there you go. If you want to learn a little more about repo, I mean, hear it right from the founder directly. Here's the episode 2 weeks ago. 30 minutes there. Jump to the 30 minutes in, and you'll get the founder of repo explaining what it is. If I seem lost during it, hopefully I didn't. I was a little lost. Yeah. There you go. I'm right there. I didn't really understand. There's components of it I get, right? There's like parts of it I'm like, yeah, I get that. That makes sense. And then tying it all together and like who's the audience, and that's where I'm kind of lost. The TLDR is this, right? Any kind of data you want to have available for people to train their LLMs and agents on, you basically put it up here. It's like a repository. You put it up here. People vote on what they think is the hottest or best data set, is my understanding. And there's rewards that are shared with both the person putting data on the site and the people voting on the site. That was my takeaway from it. And I don't think that's the perfect takeaway, but it's something like that. So like BitTensor, where it has data on different subnets, this is like not on subnets, but they're categorized, right? And people vote on them. And I think if you're getting the vote, it speaks to maybe the quality of the data. And if people think it's going to be a high used data set, that's my takeaway. But yeah, it's great to see a unicorn launch, and the best performing unicorn launch. So it's great to see that. It shows the ceiling that we have now. And if they just keep blazing that trail, then there we go. Yeah. By the way, hang on, I forgot to pull it up, but we'll hit that too. But I think today's the day, cats. Tell me if I'm right. Predict Base goes live on ACP. I think that's today. So there was the virtuals like builders, spaces yesterday. I think that's what Kat said they mentioned yesterday. So be on the lookout for that. I still love Preddy. I think the Predict Base guys are phenomenal. I love the platform. On Builder Banter, they said next week. Okay, cool. Next week. Oh, hang on. Let's see this. Okay, yeah. So let's hit real quick. I think I'm going to make the time today, by the way. We're definitely getting to the Fusaka upgrade. It's more, do we get to some of the NFT stuff? Notice the ZK Mixer project is just a copy. Okay. So is that this right here? Is this a copy basically of that Anon, what was it? Anon based? And I think Moonship told us a couple days ago, these ZK mixers are so easy to launch. Like, told us maybe don't be so like bullish on Anon base. Could be. Private, compliance, secure. What is it? Enables agents within the virtual's ecosystem to process identity verification, financial operations, permissioned access. Okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, this is a cash grab. Yeah, yeah. So avoid. Yep, it makes sense. Fuku's the one. If anything that's coming up that's got some upside on it, it is Fuku. It is Fuku. So again, excited to have them on the show tomorrow. 24 hours from right now, we'll have Fuku on. We'll dive into their platform. I think you're looking at a winner though. The market hangs where it is right now. This will be, yeah, still think like 3 to 5 mil FDV. I think you'll win on that play. Anything else new here? Let's see. No, we covered everything else yesterday. There's nothing else on the board that I'm looking forward to at all. At all. Doesn't mean they won't be good, right? We don't know, but there's not a lot of info on these teams, and none of the products sound like something I would use, right? Or that others would use. I don't see it. Okay, now on repo, and let me pull that back up. Right, we looked at the chart yesterday, and I said I used the wrong wording, like because this will sound shitty, and I'll say it again. I looked at the chart yesterday. I'm like, looks like not crime, but it looks like market maker. It looks like it's because the chart looks so good, and I just don't feel like the market's really there for that. So I don't know where it's coming from. But here's the repo chart. It's a good looking chart for the most part. Other than here, but people taking profits. What? Well, it turns out there is something to that. There is, and I don't know, man. So virtuals, and you virtuals guys know this already. But virtuals has a mechanic in there, unicorn platform, whatever, where at certain market cap or FDV milestones, they sell tokens, right? They sell tokens because that's like team rewards. And something with it broke. Something broke, and I think we're seeing part of that on the chart here. Where that selling mechanism was down for 12 hours. So fundraising didn't happen during that time. They didn't sell tokens during that time. It's probably why you see this huge spike right there. I think I'm just going to assume that it was kind of in this window right here. It didn't have any of the sell pressure. That's my read on it. Didn't have that sell pressure. But it just tells you how, it's like we always have market makers, or usually, but like how artificial it might be, right? You have this constant sell pressure from this thing at these certain intervals. It kind of makes it, I want to say hard to bet on, but it's a whole other thing you might have to consider. But it is balanced, right? This is like getting to be like a finely tuned mechanism here, where it's not supposed to wreck the chart. It's not supposed to hurt it. It does it in small batches here, right? Like these $700, token bundles. So I don't think, look, this isn't a bad thing, but just know that this does introduce a whole other thing going on these tokens, on these charts. So yeah, I think to a degree, some of that chart is artificial, but because of this. Also, my biggest takeaway from this was actually kind of cool. Right here, we're building a better version of ACF. That's the automated capital formation, right? So building a new version of it that doesn't sell into the chart, acts as a tight V3 Uniswap liquidity band. So we'll see what that is, what it looks like, how it works, whatever. But I think this is cool, especially as the Launchpad wars really heat up. Dude, they really are heating up, right? So we got the Jupiter thing now. They've got their wet token launch today. I thought it was yesterday. It's today. I think even Uniswap. I wasn't super clear on this, by the way. If this is Uniswap with a new token, like Launchpad, I don't think it's a perfect word, but you know what I mean? I couldn't tell if this here, Aztec, if that's Uniswap, who's like facilitating these auctions. But this is a different kind of token, like ICO style, where it's like you throw in bids. It's pretty cool. And then there's MakerDAO, and there's all kinds of new, options for launching these tokens. Coinbase, right? It's going to get very competitive. I think it's going to get real spicy for us. So I'm watching. That'll be another episode of a deep dive too into all these launch pads because they're all starting to have their own flavors, and we win when that happens, which is great. Last point on AI, but Sui going AI, and we've known this for a bit, but just another ecosystem we may need to start paying attention to. Might need to. Here's Beep It, deploying AI agents powered by Bluefin app. So we'll start watching over there too. Okay, let's get to Fusaka. Big ETH upgrade. This is a really cool one. Really, really cool upgrade. That arrives. Let me see if I can figure out what time. We're hours off at this point, like 5-ish hours, I think. Maybe a little further than that, but early this afternoon, Fusaka's coming. And they are streaming it live. I love when they do that. They used to have a PO app. At least when Merge happened, I remember they had a PO app. But pretty cool. All right, hang on. While I'm getting some of my notes ready here, let me play this like a minute-long video that sums up Fusaka. It's not in depth at all, so we'll be able to break it down more. And like the key upgrades that are coming, and they're pretty awesome. All right, let's see. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna play this. Tell me if you get audio or tell me if you don't. Either way, let me know. Let me know if you hear. All right, hang on. Okay, this is lame. I'm gonna do it myself. No audio. You guys had no audio? How could that be? God damn it. Unreal. Okay. Well, it worked out fine because it sucked anyways. So we'll do it. And I appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Okay. Altogether, there are basically, I mean, this started as like 40 plus, I think like 45 EIPs, whittled down to like 12 main EIPs. I'll say this. There is one account. Okay. Here's how it went. I probably put in 4 hours of digging into this, reading everything, playing with Grok, having it explain stuff to me. And I realized how much I didn't know that I should have known. I didn't really understand how blobs work. I didn't understand really what the validators do with those blobs. I didn't really understand how gas comes into play with each blob. I didn't understand, and I thought I knew enough. But when I was reading it, I'm like, oh my God, I don't really know it. And I got to. I'm so ready to step that up. But it was so much fun to read. Okay, and then as I was researching and wrapping my head around so much of this, I would keep finding new posts about it, and by the way, most of the posts out there are not great. There's so many with bad info. Some of them saying we're increasing gas like to, I think like 150 mil, which maybe was an idea earlier. Anyway, I found one post that I think was the best of them all, and I'll put it on your guys' radar. In fact, it's one I'm going to use to reference here. But it breaks down all the 12 main EIPs that are part of this upgrade. It's pretty great. Fusaka. Biggest things coming with Fusaka is larger blocks. We could say doubling block size. And more data coming from L2s. I think those are the two core upgrades that are happening here, which is like it's a way of saying faster, cheaper, but it's the how. It's the how and how scalable it is, where the magic happens. So yeah, the main event to Fusaka, the star of the upgrade, Pure DAS, Pure DAS, Pure DAS, whatever. This is what's new. This is really new. And it's an upgrade to blobs or what's done with blobs. Okay. So you have L2s who are doing all these transactions at that layer who need to roll it up basically to mainnet. when blobs are introduced, they take these compressed data, and that's how they bring it to Ethereum. And it doesn't happen on chain, by the way, right? This data is not kept on chain. Data is kept in this weird little P2P network called, what is it called? Is it Gossip? I think it's called Gossip. Essentially a network where these, I think the nodes are all chatting with each other. And it's some data that's out there, but not permanently. It's like a temporary thing. These blobs live out there for like 30 days, whatever, right? In each block, you can have a maximum of 6 blobs. So right off the bat, that is one of the biggest changes coming with Fusaka is that limit of 6 blobs is going to be increased. Yes, dude. Yeah, I do. Hang on. I do. Damn. It's a sign, man. Funny enough, I'll get into this later. I had a lighter thing. Back to ETH. So one of the biggest updates here is the increase of blobs per block from 6 up to, I think it's scalable to like dozens in the long run. Day one, there's not an increase to the blobs. Not day one, but within like 2 and 3 weeks, there are 2 milestones coming up this year with an increase to the number of blobs per block. So those blobs are transacted on chain. The blobs live out in that gossip network. And then nodes, what they do currently prior to Fusaka is they have to go and see those blobs and download all that information, all that data in those blobs, 100% of it. They all download it. Every time there's a new blob out there, the nodes talk to each other. They say, new blobs here, grab it. Everybody grabs it. With that increase in number of blobs, all of a sudden, these nodes are going to have to download a lot more. And that's where all of a sudden things become not super scalable. That these nodes, like local storage is going to have to keep growing and growing, even if the blobs are only temporary. If you want to have more blobs and more blobs, again, it's just more stuff that these nodes and validators have to download. So the other part of this change here with peer DAOs, somebody knows the right way to say it, let me know, is validators and nodes no longer download 100% of the blob. They download something like, I think, 12%. Let's see if it shows here. Well, 1/8 of the blob's data now. So every node itself is going to have a different part of that data it's going to download. And it's randomized through random DAO or RANDAO. So if I'm running a node or validator, I'm going to be downloading a different set probably than Cats and Luna and Cutie and DK. And when it needs to be referenced by another node validator or whatever, it'll know how to route it to who has that data, right? That's how you can scale this. That's how you can actually make Ethereum quicker, really quicker for L2s. If they can start sending more blobs up to mainnet, well, now L2s can be faster. Again, they do it now because validators only need to read part of the blob or download part of the blob. That is the biggest change that's coming here. So eventually 16 times the number of blobs. So we're talking like 100 plus blobs per block. And possibly more. Do they tell us? Let me see if they tell us how many it's going to upgrade to in the next couple of weeks. Again, day one today, no change. Within like 1 week, it's, I think, up to like 14 or 15 blobs. So it's something like that, right? It's not a huge, it's like doubling almost. And then from there, a couple of weeks after, another big upgrade. So there you go. Again, this thread is awesome. It breaks down each EIP. It's very cool. All right, we're not going to do this one. And all the updates are cool, by the way. I just think there's only some that we'll give a shit about for the most part. So the next part of this, the next, what I think is major update here is doubling block size. Okay. Here, let's break this down even. Dude, Grok is the best for research. I hope everybody uses Grok or ChatGPT or Gemini. I hope everybody's using it now. Luna, sweet control, supply control, no good. Yeah, I wish I knew. Kind of like Solana, I wish I understood. But there you go. So the block size, there is like the data size, like the 4 meg limit, but more important or just as important is the number of there's a gas limit. There's a 30 million limit there. Is it measured in Wei? I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. Doubling from 30 mil to 60 mil. Already in effect, I believe, right now to prepare for this upgrade today. I think that actually is live right this moment. But again, essentially doubling size. That means more transact. I mean, in theory, like double the transactions per block. In theory. So compare this or add this to more blobs. So more info getting, rolled up by L2s. And then more information that can be stored in the blocks or more transactions per block. It's a better way to put it. These are your big upgrades here. 100, I see where 150 came from now. This is somebody using ChatGPT to write their thread. They saw this because people do tests, right? Like they'll simulate what can happen if you increase it to 150 mil. This is where people can start adding enough data to introduce security risks to Ethereum. So you increase the size to 150 million gas, all of a sudden you can get some like pretty nefarious stuff there. So I get where that 150 came from. This is people who didn't check their work. Okay, I'll show you another upgrade here. I think this is more minor, but I thought it was kind of cool. Increasing, I think that's what this is doing, increasing the fee for blobs. That's not, now right off the bat, I'll say that's not actually, it actually is going to be cheaper. Blobs are actually going to be cheaper here, but there is more like a price control on the low end here. I think this problem would come up where when gas was high, there was this issue where the actual like blob fee would plummet, right? I think the scenario is gas fees high, L2's waiting for fees to come down a bit, to actually put that blob on chain. And the way the blob fee worked before, I hope I even have this right, but I think I do. That blob fee would go low, keep going lower and lower and lower, thinking there was no demand for blobs, when in reality, gas was still high because demand on ETH is like skyrocketing because of whatever, but the blob fee would actually go down. So you have this weird mismatch. And then as soon as somebody transact and puts a blob up on mainnet, fee starts spiking. It made this weird scenario where those blob fees were pretty chaotic. So there's an update coming here. Again, blob's going to be cheaper, but there is like a bottom to that now. Little price control on the bottom. They also put a limit on an individual transactions gas. This is pretty new. I mean, it's really new. I actually thought they already did this, right? I feel like, let's talk like last cycle and NFTs. I feel like we saw a lot of fuckery back then where somebody probably maxed out the gas to own a block, basically, right? I feel like we saw that back in the day. You're not going to be able to do that anymore, which is kind of interesting. So now they put a limit of, I believe, 16.5 mil gas on a block. Now, remember, the limit now is bumped up to 60 mil. So we're talking, I don't know, what is that? 20-ish% ballpark, somewhere around there. So an individual transaction, the most gas that you can actually spend, I hope they put it here, 16 mil. I think that's it. But yeah, no longer can you have one transaction take up an entire block just because of the gas. It's weird. I would have thought that would have been addressed like forever ago, right? Otherwise, I again would have thought we would have seen fuckery always, like endlessly with that. So for some reason, no. But dude, where's the number? I'm pretty sure it was 16 mil. And then let me put this thread here again. This is the best thread I found. So I'm going to drop it here. You can go through all 12 threads, breaks down all 12 EIPs. And again, there's some other cool stuff there. There's one of them that I think increases the fee if you're looking for old historical stuff, because they don't want to clog up the chain with like a really hefty request when there's new stuff that's more timely, that matters more. So the older stuff is more expensive. That's a really light way of putting it. But there's just interesting stuff all over the update. And it just was a good reminder for me that I'm like, dude, when these upgrades come out, these forks, you get your ass in there and read them. It's really cool stuff. Forget what gigabrains we have here in the space, right? Let's see. We did this one. Again, I'm not going to go into any of these others. I just want to see if any stand out as a cool thing. Yeah. Was this the old historical stuff costing more? Maybe not. But anyway, those 4 we covered to me were the biggest takeaways. Again, from me on the more degen side. But the others were all interesting too. See if we can find one more that was cool. I think that might have been this. That might have been this one. Yeah, let's see. Nope, not that one. Anyways, cool upgrade coming in a few hours. I'll be tuning in when that stream goes live. I'll be watching. I love that stuff. I'm kind of curious what comes next year. I don't know what else is on the roadmap here for next year, but again, I'm enjoying looking into what the GigaBrains are doing here. It's cool stuff. Let's see. Just get to the last one and just see with that one. Oh yeah, it's a cool one to end on. Ethereum will support SEC P256R1 signatures. TLDR is signatures using biometrics. It's kind of cool. So you'll be able to sign transactions without needing a seed phrase, meaning I don't know what that means exactly. Like you may not need. I'm trying to think if there's going to be a different interface for it, like not directly through your wallet. I get this is probably stupid, but on a mobile device, it accesses your camera. You show your face, you do your fingerprint, you do whatever. So bringing that natively to Ethereum, nice upgrade. But there's Fusaka. Now, next time I will have a much better grasp on it and my own presentation, because I think this shit's cool and we need to do more of this, like more diving into the stuff, which we'll do with BitTensor. And BitTensor is going to be BitTensor is going to deserve that. I can't wait. All right, let's hit NFTs real quick, and then we're out, fam. NFT market yesterday actually up. Nothing crazy here. 9.8 million sales. Yeah, actually, sellers down, buyers down. Transactions up. Average sale price up. Trade profit still negative. Just about $1 million in the negative. Dude, we got some cool stories in NFTs today. And by the way, in 7 minutes, Fogment goes live. I think some of you guys are on deck for that. Any new collections cooking here? No. So let's hit some stories here. Now, we'll probably talk about this today on the Chart Monkey show, which, by the way, that's coming up in 2 hours over on the CyberKong's account. We've got Serpin, the CEO of Ethos, coming on, which will be awesome. We had Woot last week, CEO of Ethos on this week. Real cool. But I do want to talk. Get out, dude. Really? Lighter? Okay. All right. I'm in. Look, I got to spend some time riffing on this. So mentioned yesterday, and you guys who watch every day know where I live, where my headspace is with NFTs. I am positive. No. I believe we'll go there. I believe NFTs are going to have a comeback. That we'll see a market in NFTs that resembles 21, 22, and that I believe actually beats it by a long shot, which I know sounds crazy. I know. I'm very aware it sounds crazy. But like that setup, again, it's AR, VR is mainstream. I mean, I'm saying when it's mainstream. And also metaverse is better, maybe more mainstream, ready to be shown to the mainstream again. And it's when NFTs equal ownership in a brand. So Ape Whale put out this post yesterday, and I'm like, he's talking about what I've been saying here, which is NFTs are not going to come back until NFTs equaled shared ownership of a brand, Web3 IP, or again, a business company. And we looked at Caesar, that AI token, and I said, that's an example. Holding a token equals ownership of a company, of a brand, of a product. That's what we've been waiting for. So Ape Whale basically put out this post saying, blows my mind with how massive Bored Apes got and Pudgies and Azuki and Doodles and Moonbirds. Not a single one has tested real profit sharing for long-term holders. And they didn't because they can't, right? They really didn't because they really can't. But it is the reason we all bought into NFTs. It is. We bought NFTs because they're cool collectibles. Yep. But that wasn't really the main reason. We were gambling, but we were also gambling that it's a way to invest in a brand. We did. And we moved away from that and we pretended like that wasn't a reason. It was. We all thought about royalties. We all thought about that. We all thought about licensing. That was sold to us. And some of these Web3 brands have made a fuck ton of money. And yes, Bored Apes dropped ApeCoin. And Pudgies do have licensing, and Azuki dropped Anime Coin, and Doodles got Dude, and right, Moonbird's got their token coming, but none of them did the thing where they took the money they made and helped share it with the community. And by the way, it wouldn't be much, I guess maybe, but I mean, maybe it would be if you distributed somehow, some way, part of your revenue with your holders who maybe have never listed or haven't listed in X number of months or years or whatever, right? There is a way to dial that into your most loyal holders. There's a way to do it. You couldn't with the old SEC. You may be able to coming up soon with this new SEC, which is very crypto friendly, which is getting to roll out crypto innovation exemptions. That may be coming. This is why I'm actually pretty optimistic about 2026. Nobody's telling you they're optimistic about NFTs in 2026. And I'm not going to tell you I am either. I'm going to tell you maybe if we start seeing what happened with Caesar normalized and what happened with Wrecked Guy and Wrecked Brands normalized in the Plague, right? Where those guys got shares of the company. Then all of a sudden NFTs maybe game on. There is a chance next year. I'm not betting on it at all. I don't think it happens, but that's the scenario where it does happen, right? Their profits go to holders. A big chunk of them. That was my dream of NFTs, a big chunk. It's very much we do this together. Brand succeeds, early believers succeed. So whatever, quarterly, monthly, whatever it is, that was part of what we dreamed. Yeah, we didn't ask for IRL events. They're cool. We didn't ask for merch. We didn't ask for that stuff. Truthfully, we didn't ask for anything. You told us that. I don't know who, but you know, it's like the they thing. That's the dream we were sold. It is. And I like that somebody put that out there. This is one of those things, right, that I talk about a lot here. I don't tweet, but I talk about exactly this a lot. I'm glad to see somebody put that on the timeline. That's what we were waiting for. Now he's saying the other part. With recent regulatory shifts, the idea is becoming more possible. Yeah, that window is opening. That is really what's starting to happen. And Bored Apes actually have that opportunity with their IRL Clubhouse. I hope it happens. That is the setup. That is the setup for NFTs to come back. And again, I don't think it's now. There's the tiniest chance it's next year. If something magic happens and the economy looks strong next year, and I don't think it will, but if it does, and we see a boom in innovation here in crypto, but beyond that, out in the real world, and probably because of AI. Again, I'm not expecting it, although I think maybe. We need a perfect storm for it to happen next year. I don't think it's happening. But 5 years off, I do. As a loose date, 5 years off, I do, with AI changing things and AI with the implications with the jobs, with jobs. And with 5 years of extra, building and establishing what we can do in crypto. In 5 years, I do think that we see an NFT resurgence. These collectibles will have aged by that point. A lot of these collectibles, a Bored Ape is going to be damn near 10 years old at that point. Some of these will feel historic, and especially in crypto terms, 10 years is going to feel like 50 years. They're going to feel ancient on chain. So all of a sudden, you're going to have these collectibles with strong lore that have survived, the decade, that hopefully have figured this thing out here. Coming when the metaverse, I think, will be reborn. Much better metaverse that people actually want to be in. And I think it'll be through AR and through traditional gaming and whatever. But different metaverse, all of a sudden that dream of owning property and assets in the digital land actually is reality again. You need that, but you need the ownership too. And I hope it's coming. That discussion, I hope helps drive that. All right, last couple stories. Xcopy's got an exhibition in Miami here, Art Basel. Some people looked at this and thought he has a mint coming up. And I don't think it's that, but also you never know. I'm going to put it on people's radar so you're looking at the very least. Maybe there's a mint coming up. I think this is just for his IRL, like gallery showing, whatever. But maybe there's going to be a new, like a Max Payne burn. Maybe. We're due for a new Xcopy piece. I think so. So keep your eyes out for Xcopy. Again, the Flog NFT mint is live right now, actually. So go grab your free NFTs there. If it makes it to public, there's a public window that opens up next week, 10 ETH mint. Meaning it's not going to public, right? It's definitely not, but maybe. And if it makes it to public, you're going to pony up 10 ETH. They're all going to go. These are all given away for free. This is one of the coolest launches I've seen in NFTs in probably years, which sounds crazy, but I believe it. This was perfect launch. Mint the blind boxes with the physicals on Solana. Give the free NFTs. The way they're giving the free NFTs is so cool. I love the raffle. I love the guaranteed mints. I love rewarding his holders. If you held the FWOG Pond NFTs on Solana, you get five free mints. If your NFT wasn't listed, 5 free mints. Like rewards your believers. I love that. I think it's great. We've got a new Jack Butcher mint. I think it's called Receipt. The more you pay, the longer your NFT is. It sounds so silly because it is, but also I love this shit. I love just making a statement. That simple. Showing people like interesting stuff you can do with tech. It's kind of that simple. And Jack does have like this artistic message. Luna, I'll hit you up. Are you talking about the lighter team, Luna? If so, that would be a funny coincidence, dude. I hope it is. Pudgy Penguins partnering with the NHL. This is awesome. Dude, awesome. Collabing with the NHL for the 2026 Discover NHL Winter Classic. Month long, starting at Art Week in Miami. Cool stuff, man. Pudgy Penguins everywhere. The mascot of crypto. I like Pengu still. Pengu pumped a lot yesterday. I mean, like 15, 19, 20%, something like that. But Pengu's got upside here. Maybe wait for a pullback. It's definitely one of those coins I'm looking at buying when I'm ready to get back in. If it stays around where it's at, I'm looking at Pengu. I would not be fading Pudgy Penguins, man. And last update, in the Pudgy Party game, they've now added Merry Mayhem. So a couple new levels, some skins, whatever. I love it. Pudgy's the GOAT. It's very cool. All right. Did anybody, the Fusaka little presentation wasn't amazing. I know. Did anybody learn something from it, though? Did anybody learn something from the Fusaka little segment? I think I'm going to assume yes. Like I learned from digging in. I assume somebody learned something they didn't know about that Fusaka upgrade. Maybe. Oh, the NFT lighter team. Yeah, dude. Want to meet him. Well, okay. I'll tell you, Luna, too, separately. I don't know why I never considered having the founder of Lighter on, but I saw he went on like the Block podcast. So I followed him and I'm like, I'm going to reach out, see if he'd come on this show. I wasn't going to say shit because I wanted to surprise you if we got him on. But yeah, dude, I would love to meet that team. Whoever it is. Yeah. And let's get him on here too. Would be cool. All right, fam. Tomorrow again, Fuku on the show. Friday, Cats, are you back Friday? I think we got Cats back on Friday. So diving back into all the prediction market stories. There's so much to catch up on. Man. Man, I can't wait. Final points. Hit the like on the show. Again, remember, subscribe here to CryptoSlam. Tap into the data. Go over to SlamAI.xyz. And just as important, if you're a builder, come on the show. Two birds, one stone. Join us in Slam Nation. We'll plug you into the data for free. Let you test it out, but come on the show. Let's show what you're working on. So follow us at CryptoSlam.io. Follow us at Slam Nation X. Send a DM. Let's get you in here. Let's do some cooking. Know what I'm saying? Anyway, have a great day, fam. See you in a couple hours. See you back here tomorrow for Fuku. Hope your day is great. We'll see you.